Do you know I went this whole review without comparing him to MP-44? Let's correct my mistakes up front. I also brought Wheeljack in here and forgot him. And here's Wheelie. I'm okay with this because I always felt like Wheelie was younger than Bumblebee.
T-Man 978 Chill Review.
Hello everyone, T-Man 978. Right now I'm reviewing Takara Tomy's Transformers Masterpiece Bumble version 2, who we all know as Bumblebee. But that's the Japanese name for him. He's number 45 in the series of Masterpiece figures. Looks like this right here, that right there, this on the top, this on the bottom, and here's the back. This figure is really small. The box is the same size as a normal Masterpiece box, but he's really small, barely comes with anything. So with the price, I was like, yikes. Now, I didn't pay that price. I paid less because I did Amazon Japan pre-order. Actually, I canceled the pre-order and had to order it again, but the price I paid was still the same thing. So, as you can see right here, one of his accessories is Spike, again, like that came with MP-44. His body is made out of, or some parts of him is made out of transparent plastic, just painted. He doesn't have a face, just like MP-44 Spike. Difference, the coloring is slightly different. Like the shirt, his shirt is painted. This shirt seems to just be plastic, if I'm not mistaken. And this arm is painted, while that's just plastic. So I have been able to, the head moves to remind you it can look up and down and rotate. You get a little bit of pivot right there. The arms go out and go around on a ball joint. The arm did fall off on me when I opened it, but I seem to be able to move that. There's a ball joint right here. That was stiff when I opened it. It's still kind of scary stiff because of the paint. And I was able to kick the legs up. I cannot do that with the one that came with MP-44. And look at that range right there. I'll bring him back in later. Here is Bumblebee, straight out of the package. I was kind of disappointed because this was not clicked in all the way. And then I can't seem to, when I get that together, I can't seem to get this click for it. But that's about as smooth as I can get it. So I was feeling like, man, this is almost like the bootleg treatment already. But it looks like the cartoon Bumblebee. But one of the things that I almost can't avoid or get around, like this, I was able to get that flush at the transforming and transforming it back. But this right here is just a gap. It doesn't matter what I do. That keeps opening back up. So that's an imperfection right there. Back here, gimmick. You can lift that kind of forward and put a coin in there to pretend he's still a penny racer. Isn't that fun? Under here, we can take his gun, which looks like this. Later on, I'm going to just put it in his hand and not really go into that. But there are two slits right there in the legs. You can just slide this in there, and it works. And you know what? Now that I have this in there, the front wheels don't seem like, let's see. No, there we go. I had to push it up some more. But one thing I noticed, after I roll it, now it's not doing it. But it like rolls and then turns really quickly. Other gimmick, he has this I Heart New York or I Autobot sign, New York. You can clip this. It's fully painted. But you can clip it on his bumper. Boy, I had to like wedge that up in there. But I guess they did that on purpose so it won't randomly just fall off while you're messing with them. Comparison, Roller is a little bit longer than him. So there's that. So you can see this, Bumblebee can fit in the trailer with Roller. If you turn him this way, let's see if I can actually shut it. Like, I had to like push the bumper. Actually, that's working good right there. I don't need to even show you this. But let's see if I can turn it this way and shut it. I can, so he can fit in there with roller. He's probably the only Autobot that can do that. Here he is next to some third-party Minibot Autobots. He is definitely the smallest. If anything, he probably scales with this Bad Key Gears right there. And actually, he scales with Huffer. But I'm thinking this Porsche maybe a little bit too long for him. And here it is next to the previous MPB. Yeah, y'all seen all this in other people's reviews. I know you ain't wait for me. Thank you for watching me. The last gimmick, just try to show off. You can separate that right there. Lift this up, and there's a little groove right there in Bumblebee's leg. You are supposed to be able to put Spike in a seated position like this. Put his feet into that groove so it won't move. And go ahead and shut this back around him. And now here's Spike in there. And because of them developing this right there, they probably made his transformation a little bit more annoying. Another thing you can also do is stretch this door all the way out so it can swing halfway open. Plug this back together again. And now you can have the door open with Spike acting like he's getting inside. And here's Spike against the first Spike. He's a lot thicker. Just like MP-10 was a lot thicker. Let's try to get to this transformation. I'm doing it a little bit different than the instructions. Do that like I did. And now I'm going to just lift that up and work on the legs here. So what we're about to do is I'm moving this out of the way so that I can open this up and stretch the legs out. Now I'm going to rotate the leg this way, and you know you're doing it right if you can bend it like this. Grab this down. I always thought when I first saw this that these became seats, but you can't put Spike in there like that. Shut that back up. Rotate things up like this. Turn that and lift it like that. Under here, we can kind of rotate this. This joint needs to bend in such a way, there we go, so that we can roll this around underneath of there. Now this can turn this way, slide up that way, push the door down, and then rotate the window up right there. One leg done. Beautiful. Bring this down, open that up, lift this up, rotate the leg this way, bend it, shut this up there, close that. Now over here, I'm gonna elongate the door, rotate this up, rotate that, and put it like this. All right, now we can kind of move this around, push that down so we can clear this. Bend this way, shove that way, put that right here, and bend this way. Be careful, always bend at the joint. Most of this toy is made out of transparent plastic, the same color transparency this is. Most of this figure is made out of that, painted over with yellow paint. So it's cool that they gave us a mostly painted figure, but it's made out of cheap feeling plastic. So yeah. Now we can go ahead and bend this down and pretty much get it out of the way. I'm going to go ahead and move this in now to get that over and done with. And we can start like shifting this up. The arms are right there. You can pretty much start rocking. Make sure you push that down. We can start rocking it forward so we can get it over the arms. There we go. Now we can move this out of the way. Bring the arms out. Grab at the head. Get that out of here. I don't feel like struggling. I could have got it with my hands, but Get that all the way up. And what I'm going to do is lift the arms up into this orientation. Well, now what you're supposed to do is swing this. Come on, you. Swing it full. I'm going to bend the wheels out the way. Now I can kind of swing this forward beyond this fake windshield down there. Bend it as much forward as possible. Squeeze this in. If you didn't do it by accident, squeeze it in right here. And now bring that up. Bring that up. Apparently I haven't been swinging this, being scared. I haven't been pulling this forward because I had to flex this around it the first few times I transformed this. But try to get this as flush together with the other wheel as possible. Then we can bring this forward. There's actually tabs right there that goes to a couple of slots right there. So get them lined up and together. There we are. All right, now we need to kind of make sure this is slid up all the way. Bend this down and get it over these circular things, but behind that. I think my problem I'm having is this isn't pegged into those slots like it's supposed to. There we go. All right. I'm trying to be so careful with this thing, but just flex it underneath of that. Force it on both sides. I couldn't just get it to do it smoothly. Now, right here, we need to bend this piece down, bend this out of the way, and go ahead and rotate this around like this. Now we can flatten this, take this, and kind of groove it right here. And now we can rock this hinge up onto the back. I see that I'm showing y'all wrong. This hinge is supposed to be rocked down like that. Keep that flat. Now we can push this up, and that grips over top of that. When I saw proto images, I was hoping that there was some type of way that this could condense more, but it can't. But when you do that, this part of the bumper grips this bottom part right there. So now we can bring the arms down into their place pretty much. Rotate the shoulder around, rotate the shoulder around. This joint right here, super tight. But we can get that oriented correctly. Bring these flaps that was like this up like that. Rotate this, and this joint and that joint is really tight. Push the head down, and pretty much here he is. He is a freaking robot. Full disclosure, I pushed his neck back. I didn't show that, so his neck looks less weird. But messing with him for a while, I thought I was gonna hate him looking at the car mode, because the car mode was driving me up the wall. I almost felt like it was a KO out of the box. But once I got him in the robot mode, fell in love. That stuff back there, the car kibble on the back of the feet, does not bother me at all. When I'm playing with it, I don't even see that. I can't describe it, but I don't see it. This right here, admittedly, train wreck. When you're looking at them straight like that, it's okay. From the side, train wreck. There's no denying it. The other Bumblebee has a big backpack as well, but it's not riddled with a bunch of hinges and parts all folded up. When it comes to his articulation and whatnot, He reminds me a lot of Sunstreaker, MP Sunstreaker, but I'm going to get into the articulation and then zoom in on some of the details and the extra faces and whatnot. Articulation, this panel right here, allows the head to rock up a little bit more, but he has a hinge and a ball post right there. So that allows his head to come a little bit forward so he can look down. Of course, it allows him to look up, and it can help him rotate. You can tilt a tiny taste, like just a tiny taste, especially when you turn the head to the side. But yeah, a lot of neck articulation. Arms, butterfly joint. Butterfly joint lets you do that. So that's cool. He has another special hinge for just outward. Rotate. Bicep rotation right there. He actually has a bend right here and a bend right there. So you can get a 180 right there. Wrist rotates unlike the first one, and the fingers open unlike the first one. Waist. It bends this much if you have the legs straight. Rotate that much and rotate that much. And it's not that tight. Bend the legs forward. You can get a tiny taste more. And if you just say, screw it, I want to get a good pose, bring that down out of the way. Like completely out of the way. You can tilt him. You can rotate him all the way. Get your pose with that not showing and be done with it. And you see how he looks really good. And I barely even did anything with him. As you saw though, his legs is individually articulated underneath of this side skirt. So even though it's connected to the leg skirt like Optimus Prime, it can move that much. But with moving that, you can kick up. And you can go out the side that much. There is thigh rotation, but yeah, the legs have to be at a certain angle for you to use them. Actually, this is the best I was able to do. It was rubbing up against that at first. Well, maybe it's just this leg. It seems like I can't rotate this leg as much as this leg. That's freaking weird. Does this pull down? Maybe it pulls down. So that's the thing. I'm calling it. He has double jointed knees. This much bend without the double joint. The ankles, a ton of ankle pivot. Ankle even swivels that way still. But you can rock it back and rock it forward. So this guy has a ton of articulation. The gun pegs into the hand. It's sort of like you have to shut the fingers while you're pegging it in at the same time. And there you are. And you know what? Like Big said, no. If you shut it tight enough, he can have the gun straight. So pew, 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 pew. They come with this blast effect. The gun is fully painted, by the way, so there's a risk of you rubbing off the paint. Siege compatible. That's not on there really tight, but it still went on there, so I'll give it to him. Zooming in on the face, super crazy nuts, cartoon accurate. There aren't a lot of technical details for me to show you. He's pretty much smooth. What you've been seeing this whole time, that's what you get. If you lift the head up like this, you can pry the face forward right there. And now we can get this more excited face right here. And the faces are transparent too and painted blue. So he's either having a conversation or just happy. Yay, Optimus, way to go! Yeah! And I guess this would be a more generic face than this one. I don't know. It still looks like he's slightly half conversation or maybe shocked or something like that. Spike, I didn't mention that he doesn't have magnets on the bottom of the feet like the one that comes with MP-45. As to not murder myself, here's how tall he is. I don't feel like trying to make him stand up. Before I go any further, you're welcome. I had to transform like 4 of these guys. As you can see here, X-Transbot's Toro is instantly obsolete because he's shorter than this Bumblebee. And they made this guy to scale with this version of Bumblebee, unfortunately. And to bring them to the forefront, as you can see, different proportions. This tried to go super cartoony and did everything it could to get those cartoon aesthetics. Like I said, looking at these legs, when I saw these legs, I was like, holy crap, it's like it came out of the cartoon. Whereas this was taking a real car and giving it Bumblebee aesthetics and robot mode and not trying to go for that full-on cartoon accuracy. And yeah, it's good. Only issues that I had with this guy is chest seems kind of big. The body didn't look like it's supposed to look. It doesn't have wrist rotation, and the feet are super huge. I mean, the feet are pretty much the same size length-wise, so that he can stand up without falling. This one is way more fun to transform. It becomes a solid car and a solid robot where you don't have to worry about things like this wacky backpack, the waist rotates and all that junk. But like I said, the articulation is nowhere near on the level of this dude right here. But you've seen video reviews on this. If you haven't, I have a review for the GT version of this guy. I haven't reviewed him yet. I haven't reviewed this guy and I haven't reviewed that guy. I need to make that happen. But anywho, I like this figure. I am happy with him in robot mode. I definitely like the way it looks. I like the articulation. The crazy kibbly stuff doesn't bug me so much. Like, this doesn't bug me until I'm like deeply staring at it. And the backpack, why am I looking at his back? I'm not looking at his back. I'm too busy getting all types of cool poses and whatnot. But I'll do that off camera. The car mode, kind of a mess because the panels don't line up the way they're supposed to. You heard me complaining. But end of the day, the only thing holding this back is it is not worth what they're trying to charge at the US retailers. I believe he's over $100, and no, this thing, all of the stuff it came with, it should have been no more than freaking $60. And let me bring this guy in because I did mention him, and I did bring it in specifically for this freaking review so you can see how tall he is right next to a regular car bot. And they are a slight, Bumblebee is slightly brighter. Oh yeah, and I also brought in Exosuit Spike. I forgot to show him off. So that's really freaking accurate to what we saw in the cartoon movie. That's cool. And he looks more like the cartoon. So if you have both of these, here you go with that. Main problems, not coming together well in car mode, and the price is way too high. So I paid about $30 more than I should have. Do I feel super regretful of it? Not now that I've been messing with it. So, yeah, it's up to you. You could try to wait for this guy to go on clearance, but you never know if and when that'll happen. Thank you for watching this. Until next time, T-Man978, out of here. Click the videos. Click the videos, baby. Click the videos. really should click those videos. Click that shit.